payment or an amortization schedule, which I never do with the pain in the neck. I was just throwing it out there. So equals sum, equals average. I have lots of neat formulas. There are text formulas that are extremely useful. Now, who can tell me something interesting you might know about this list of IDs? Okay, Norman? Okay. There's at least some consistent pattern here, and we always need to look for consistency when we're doing our work. Just the first thing you look at is consistency.
Letters and numbers?
In this case, there are letters and numbers, but more specifically, there are 5 digits in everybody's ID. Now, what that means to me is that I can say to myself logically, wouldn't it be neat if I could just tell Excel to give me the 5 characters from the right of any cell and I can copy the formula down? That would be really cool, right? Does any such formula exist? Yes! And it's called equals right. No way. Are you kidding me? Give me the rightmost characters of cell C3, comma, how many? 5. Does that make logical sense? Yes. What do I want to do? I want to separate the numbers. Okay, so I hit enter, and it doesn't work. You know why it doesn't work? This was imported from QuickBooks, and QuickBooks has all text in the columns. So I'm just going to grab the column, and I'm going to delete everything, and now I can start again. Okay, equals right, R-I-G-H-T, C3, comma, how many characters from the right? I want 5. In this case, it'll work. There it is, it's separate. Now, how do I copy the formula down? Most people will tell me to click and drag, right? Okay, you do not need to. There's a little secret. Is that door closed over there? You do not need to click and drag. All you have to do is, when you get that black plus sign, double click it. It fills in all the formulas automatically all the way down. If there's data to the left, if there's a blank column, it won't work. But when you have data one next to each other, you want to copy your formula? You like that one, huh? Just double click it. And it's legal too. Okay, you can double click it. Now, what if I wanted to get the... Oh gosh, this is so slick. I love this. I really do. This is so much fun. What if I wanted to get the letters separated, the characters? Okay. Now what do I do? Equals what? Right. Equals right. Right.
Parentheses.
I can't do both. Equals what?
Left.
Left. Okay. How many characters from the left of that cell do you want?
2.
That's great. It's only going to work for one of them, right? I got to delete all this again. Okay, so we got a problem. There's no consistency. There's no logic. So now what are you going to have to do? If you want to get all of the IDs separated, you're going to have to go through all 40,000 and retype them, right? I think you pretty much got the picture by now. We can do almost anything we want to do in 5 seconds or less. But we have to get a little creative on this one. This is so cool. How about if I take the leftmost characters of this cell? How many characters do I want? I don't know. It could be 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, right? But wait a minute. Logically, if I know, in this case, there happen to be 5 digits that are consistent for the ID number, that means if I took the total number of characters of any cell and subtract 5, I'd be left with whatever's left, right? 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. It wouldn't matter. So how do I know the total number of characters in a cell?
-5.
I'm sorry?
-5.
Well, no, because how do I know the total number of characters in the whole cell? For that, we're going to use a different formula called len. There is a function in Excel called equals len for length. It tells me the number of characters, 8 or 7 or 6 or 5, whatever it happens to be. Now, that in itself is not that valuable. It's good to know. Equals len is the number of characters. But wait a minute. Look what we can do now. I feel like the cat in the hat. Equals left. How many characters from the left of C3 do I want? I'm going to take the length of C3 minus 5. Does this make sense? I want to take the leftmost characters from this. I don't know how many there are. It could be 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. But I know that the length of the entire cell is 8 or 9 or 6, whatever. Well, if I subtract 5 from that, what am I left with? Whatever the letter portion would be. It's very simple, actually, once you get the logic. So I'm going to take the leftmost character of the cell. How many? I'm going to take the length, the total number of characters of C3, and subtract 5. That will always leave me just that information. And now I can do my magic double click. OMG.
Is that a left click or right click?
Right double click. Okay, what do you think of that? Okay. I got one more for you. And then I'll take some questions. Remember I told you about consistency? Consistency is all important when doing computer work. What if, unfortunately, the people who set up your code system didn't think about consistency, or didn't need to, right? Or couldn't, right? So now, what's going to happen? I do not know anymore if it's 5 characters. So if I do equals left of C3, comma, len C3 minus 5, what's that going to do? It doesn't give me all of my data anymore, does it? It does in some cases, but in other cases it gives me digits and characters. So now I've got another problem. Basic text to columns works great. You have a space or a comma, you got a delimiter, bam, you're done. You're out the door. If you do not have a delimiter, there's no comma, no space, no dash, what do? We can use equals right or equals left, but only if there's a consistent pattern to follow. But if there's more digits in some than others, an equals left won't help. Well, I'm not going to bother trying that one again because you already know there's a solution I told you, right? There's one more trick Excel has up its sleeve. If the data is not consistent, a few years ago, it could have been maybe up to 5 years ago, Excel came up with another feature which is just brilliant. There is a formula which is extremely complex called equals aggregate, and you can use it with an array inside, and it took me 40 minutes just to figure out what it was doing, and I think I know what it is. But there is a feature that Excel built which automatically will identify in a cell which are characters and which are numbers, digits. It doesn't always work, but it works a lot of times, and I'm going to show you how. In this case, I have characters and numbers I need to separate, but there's no consistency and there's no delimiter. So what I'm going to do is, I am going to tell Excel that there are characters in the cell. Okay? And, let's make it a little bit easier. There are characters and there are numbers. So I'm going to tell Excel that there are characters. Excel will now look at every cell as I copy this down and determine if there's characters or numbers. And the name of this feature is called flash fill. So I type in the first characters of the first cell that I want, right? And I go to data, flash fill. Oh, come on, give me a break. Is that cool? It automatically follows that pattern, and as you guessed already, it does the same thing if you put in the number portion. I just made that centered so you can see it better. If you put in the number portion of the very first cell, and then you do a data and a flash fill, it's all done. What do you think of that? Okay. That's all I have prepared, but pretty much to show you, I think we have about 10 minutes for questions, which I thought might work out. So